Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 17, intercooler piping. Let's go. What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Wix here again, carrying on with this STI build. Today we're going to start hammering out our intercooler piping, which I'm really excited about. So we went and got the car back from Sticks out at Matata, and man, he's done some awesome work. So I'll show you a little bit of what he done. First of all, finally got my oil cooler back on. So this is the Citrab oil cooler, and yeah, there's not much to say about that one, to be honest. So hopefully we'll sneak the fittings just in here and behind there. I'm not sure if they'll fit, but we'll make them fit. What else did he do? A new bracket for the fuel rig, because that got stuffed up, and he redesigned the bracket to hold the alternator. So last time, well, the first bracket that we had, the hinge was down the bottom, and just the angle or the axis that it was on when it rotated didn't really tighten the belt. So he's made this one, shifted the hinge up higher, which I think is how the standard ones are, just that the alternator's on this side. So I've shifted the hinge up higher, so now when it swings out it pulls the belt away, which tightens the belt. He's made his own little tensioning mechanism, which works pretty good. So yeah, really stoked about that. Solid as, still welded in with that plate in the back there that holds the coil pack, so that's all one bracket. So at some stage I'll need to get a measurement of what belt I need to chuck on that. The other thing he did was he's made a new bracket to hold the intercooler. So in earlier episodes this is where it usually sat, but we're going to cut that off now, get rid of it off the strut bar, which can only be a good thing. And we're finally going to mount the cooler dead center, and have our pipes coming off that. So Sticks made a bracket to hold that, and that works really well as well. But at the moment it's up on the bench. I've got Dean with me today, and we're going to start taking up our intercooler piping, which yeah, is another big section of the car to tick off. So we're just putting our first tacks in now. We've just spent the morning cleaning and cutting, and yeah, so yeah, let's get into it. So after many hours later, and a good old afternoon sleep after a night on the beers, we actually didn't get much done today. A few of the other boys turned up, and we had a big discussion and some beers. So, but we did get some done. So this is what we've got done so far. So next time I pull that out, I'll actually I'll show you guys how Sticks made up the bracket for that. But that's where the cooler sits now. and we ended up just welding on just a couple of spaces on both sides, but we still need to measure those, and we're going to end up trimming those off. And all that was doing was just bringing the elbows out a little bit so we can clear the legs, because the pipe's going to be coming down both sides of the intake. So this will go on something like that, but it'll be roughly about here or something like that, so it just misses the legs. So we've got those are welded on properly, ready to go. And like I said, my mate Dean with the Ready for War Evos, it's his first time doing Ali Welds, and I'm pretty stoked with it. And we've just sort of mocked the turbo one up. So these are our vibrant clamps that we're going to use. We had to trim the turbo intake, which is yeah, we were pretty nervous about that one. These turbos well, they cost a lot of money, so when we're working on stuff like that, especially when we're chopping stuff off, I can't help but get a little nervous. So we've tacked this elbow on for now, but this one's just pretty much sitting there at the moment, so we need to tack that on as well. So we trimmed that turbo off, cleaned it up, and I'll probably clean that. This side of the clamp was tacked on to another elbow, so I'll probably need to clean that up a little bit before we tack that on. But that just sits there like that, kind of like that. We were a little nervous that because we had to twist the turbo like that for it to clear the fuel rail. We'll probably have to go a little more. So we were a little nervous that it was going to hit the bonnet the more we tipped it up, because it ended up bringing this point here a little bit higher, but we have put it in the position that we needed. I think that's sitting a little low at the moment, but we did put it where we needed it. We put the bonnet on, shut the lid, and everything looked good. What's up guys, so just carrying on with this intercooler piping. This is what we've got so far. We've pretty much got one, pretty sunny here today. We've pretty much got one side tacked up with our vibrant clamps. So we had to trim our turbo back a little bit, which was I was pretty nervous cutting that. Vibrant clamp. So we've got 2.5 inch to a 3 inch elbow. Straight pipe 3 inch, vibrant 3 inch, then another elbow 3 inch to 3.5 inch into the cooler. So like I said, we had to put these spacers on just to bring it out a little bit, so quite happy with that one. So we just got to tack this other side up. So we've tacked that elbow on, and I did have a 90 that I pre-cut for Dean before he got here, but I fucked it up. So I've got to go buy a new 90. So I'm off to get another bend that Salwan's got from Hot Glue Welding. So Dean's just making my my catch can. How's it going, bro? So just putting my fittings on the catch can, which is in the next episode. But yeah, while he's doing that, I'll shoot out and grab another pipe, and then hopefully we can get this side tacked up before Dean goes home today, and maybe if we get some time, maybe get everything welded for the piping, and that'll be that done. So yeah, off to get another 90. Hey guys, it's a Thursday afternoon. I've pretty much just woken up from a night shift, but we are done with the intercooler piping. We've finally welded up everything on my messy garage floor, but everything should be ready to go now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw all this stuff back in the car just to make sure that it all fits. If it does, I need to pull it back off because all the stuff is going to get polished up. So let's go ahead now and throw that in the car, and hopefully it still fits. Okay, so I finally finished putting them all back in, so let's take a look. This is my final setup for my intercooler piping, and I'm pretty stoked. It wasn't my original plan, and after talking with Dean, who did all the welding, he convinced me to go with this setup. And Sticks also said, who did all my other fabrication, he also suggested that as well, but I didn't listen. But this time I did, and I'm glad I did, because I'm really happy with how this looks. We try to keep it pretty, without trying to get the shadow in the shot. We try to keep everything pretty symmetrical, and I think we've done a pretty good job, especially for a couple of fellows who don't really know what they're doing. As we say here in New Zealand, we're just having a tutu. But yeah, no, I'm real stoked how it's come out. I got to use my new clamps, and something about these clamps, they say these are easy to put on. I'm going to say yes and no. To put this outside piece on, easy. To put the sleeve that goes underneath this on, sometimes that can be a bit of a C word, but in the end I'm glad I went with these. So it's just trying to get away from that silicone look. We ended up having to put a spacer here off the throttle body, so this is the IAG throttle body. That was nerve-wracking. Just got told by a few other welders that to be careful that this throttle body didn't warp from the heat and stuff up the butterfly of the throttle. But it seems to be fine, so we got away with it. Had to put a spacer in because we needed to clear this alternator, which isn't much room. That's a good finger. So yeah, happy with that. The other nerve-wracking part about this process was we had to cut the turbo back. So the turbo actually finished about here, I think. So we had to cut that back to, there's not much room in there either. I haven't bolted everything solidly, but it does give a bit more room here, because I don't want that to bang on the intake. I think if I twist the turbo up a little bit, can't do it with one hand, it'll lift that gap. But yeah, so pulled that off. That was nerve-wracking. Brand new precision turbo, not cheap, and we're going to cut into it, but we made it work. So lucky with that as well. So this is where the blow off is going. I just need to cut that hole out for the blow off valve, and that's all done. Otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty stoked. So that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed our process of making our version of our intercooler setup. And shout out to the bro Dean, thanks bro for all the welding, and even for having the balls to give something like this a go, especially on a build like this. So thanks heaps bro, and if you want to check out the next episode, which will be my catch can down here, so it's finished now, but I've got an episode on how we made it and how we put it together. That's the next episode, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace, I'm out.